well, I should be live anytime now if all's going well. My settings are alright there.
On YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. So what I was kind of hoping from everybody was yous all give me one of your graws at the moment, your graws or your gripes, your something you're loving, something you're hating. Like if it must be like if Flando, if you want to talk about Fantasy Star, that's perfectly okay. I don't mind if that's what you're.
No. I can keep the Star Trek.
Right.
So that's fine.
But Belly in particular, I'm very interested in bringing Belly in on. Hold on, there's me. Right. There's a bit of a delay on that, right? Because Belly's on the founder server, right? I'm banging on about the founder server for a long time. Myself and Belly were having the crack earlier talking about how there is a status attached to what we've got, except the people on our server just don't probably fucking see it, right? The very fact that I have a bunch of realtors in my garage, there's nobody else in the game apart from the guys on my server that have a bunch of realtors in their garage. I suppose while I have the game up, I'll just illustrate that, right? This is something, no matter what happens to any of us, like server merges coming, people, the ability for us to leave our server, whatever it is, right? I don't want to see the founder server players get scattered to the four winds with this whole server merges thing. All that confusion was there, and I want to get into server merges a little bit more towards the end, if you don't mind, with Belly in that. But there was all this talk recently about the server merges, and now it seems like it's going to be for servers like ours, right? The reality is probably starting to dawn on us, and this is where I really want to bring Belly in. Is he feeling this as well? Does he think other people are feeling it? The reality is going to dawn on us that all of these guys that have played together for so long, it's all going to change. We don't know what we're going to be faced with, and we have seen a server merge before, and we know what that done to both of our realities, right? That DNA, I've often said it in videos, that DNA has now merged. One of the upshots of that nobody else, unless they replicate this with another server merge. I have 6. I scrapped one before they changed it, but I have 6 realtors in my garage, like, you know. Nobody else is going to have that. Not unless Scopely like puts it into their garage for them, but that's not the same, right? We have these refine options. We have these. You're well used to me talking about these refine options, Flando, right? I'm disgruntled because they've taken one of our refine options away from us, but we're still left with 100% more refine options than everybody else. Mm-hmm. So we can't really cry about that, right? And there's internal politics, which I've covered a fair amount of that, and myself and Belly can get into more of that towards the end when it comes to the server merges and what we might be talking about in reality, how we're going to be affected. But right now we're in Fractured Empire. We're after finishing up the Borg content. It's all done and dusted. Everybody has had time now to just take a breather and do other things until we see what's coming next. I was very unhappy. I wasn't allowed into the war effort AMS. Belly's alliance was equally as affected with Harry Seldon.
Harry. Yeah.
Not being able to participate or avail of any of the rewards. Myself and Belly know, and I'm sure the other alliances like RPH or Sword or any of them will agree with us that when a member like Harry or myself, and I'm not fucking for 1 second being ego about this and making out like we are important in any kind of way, but we're active. That hurts an alliance. It probably wouldn't have made any difference in terms of Rug winning the thing and Hum behind them. That would have been the same, but it would have made a difference within the alliance to have all hands on deck rather than a good pair of hands that you know having to sit out in the sidelines for 3 fucking weeks. Like, right? And how that was done. And we've seen all the conversation about server merges, we've seen all this, and I've linked the server merges, Belly, as you know, and all you guys in the panel know, in the Reddit post that I done, I didn't follow to the letter the little campaign outline that I had kind of drafted up for myself, but I let it run a natural kind of course without pushing it too hard, and I believe Monkey and all of these guys, that they sent in something to customer support, kind of echoing what I've been trying to say. And all of that support's very, very welcome. I didn't put it out there so much to guys like yourself, Flando, or yourself, Spork, or anybody else, even though I know you guys probably would have put in a bit of an effort. I wanted to kind of keep it more a founder-server issue, if you know what I mean. And I've been a little bit quiet because I've been working in the background on bits and pieces like that, and playing other games, because I've been excluded from a certain amount of content, you know. So, great opportunity for me to get stuck into Final Fantasy VII. You know, I don't know what Flando's excuse is there with Phantasy Star, but that's another conversation. But the Borg, the end of the Borg content, this period that we're after going through, this era of Star Trek Fleet Command is over. And we've seen a lot of things, like Anisius had a gripe, and a lot of very high levels have a gripe there about the way that they can grind for their blueprints, I believe. There's a huge issue with that. I believe there's an issue now. There's a real live issue for us when it comes to the server merges, and the general feeling of how anybody, all the different levels, all the different alliances, how the Borg content went. Was Arc 4 what we wanted it to be? Was Borg Armadas what we wanted it to be? Thinking back over all of the arcs and its culmination, and where we're at here today. So I was hoping you guys have something you want to zone in on and say, this is what kind of encapsulates it for me. This is what I found really, really good or really, really bad. And I'm going to throw it out, because I want to get the Belly about the founder server stuff later on, so I'm going to throw it out to Spork first, if you don't mind. If he's still with us.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Spork, on the entire Borg arc stuff, or just even the way the game is at the moment? What's going on for you? What's in your head, like?
I feel like there's less going on now, which is good and bad. The Borg arc 1 and 2 were really good. 3 was okay. So we still had the $20 Borg store and good rewards and stuff, but then the whole Borg Mata arc was just bad. And they made room for all the Borg stuff by getting rid of normal events. And we just don't seem to have them back. There's like 4 events per day now, it seems, total. 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. And there's no ship XP events anymore. It seems like there's just a lot of stuff missing. And now we have like the Separatist event, which is interesting, yes, but you can finish the entire solo event in 30 seconds. So like, okay, I'm done with that for the day. Now what do I do?
Yeah. And you're talking there in regards to Fractured Empire. It's easy enough, if you're at a certain level, it is easy enough to complete the daily on that.
It literally takes 2 kills. You just have to kill 2 bosses, and you can kill them using... you can kill... This is just an example of how ridiculously broken Pike is, and I now think they need to nerf it pretty severely.
No, don't be saying that. Don't be saying that, fuck's sake. Go on, go on,
okay.
Go on.
Alright, it's a 2.4 million power enemy, and it's an explorer in the Federation space. And I took a 430,000 power Vidar, the Borg killing ship that is an interceptor, so it's against a triangle. I threw Pike on there and could kill 10 or 12 Separatist bosses.
Yeah, that's good going.
So...
That's Pike and Moreau, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, something is not working as intended there. I really feel like...
Right. Well, hold on a second. We have had to live with shit being... The economy and the mechanics of this game being messed with over a long period of time, right? Myself and Belly more than the average, right? And sometimes there's a good thing. Can we not just keep it? Can we not just go... Right, this is a good thing. You're a new player. What do you want to get? You want to get Pike. They didn't nerf him. They keep him the way that he is. What will change your game will eventually be obtaining Pike. That's a real goal for you as a free-to-play, to come into this game and get to level whatever it is and get Pike, and you'll see a game changer then. It makes life a bit easier for you then if you want to go out and fucking grind blueprints or whatever.
Like, I totally get what you're saying, and I do agree, but, like, you know, the cadet crew is really good for fighting Reds. That's, like, the predominant way that you do things before you get Pike. Pike shouldn't be, like, a couple 1,000% better. It should be, like,
no, but
twice as good.
listen, where do we see the real benefits of Pike? We see him on Swarm, we see him on farming Reds, right? And we see him on these Borg things for the Borg nanoprobe things, right? The Borg probes,
red,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, that's dependent on having Moreau and then Chen or Talan or whatever way it works out. They're throwing these Borg officers at us that's giving us food for thought. Myself and Flando went through a fair amount of testing. I think you were there for a bit of that as well, Spork, testing on the different officer setups if you didn't have Pike and Moreau. And there was certainly food for thought in that, right? And now with all of the new Borg officers, there's food for thought in alternatives to needing Pike for the Borg ships, okay? The Swarm, I don't want them to nerf the officer that helps me get my Swarm dailies done faster, right? And as
I actually think they should go the other direction. I think things are tuned to be so difficult that you have to have a broken officer interaction to make it really viable. Otherwise, you're going to be killing like 3 ships per hull and repairing constantly. It's just not a viable thing to do. Pike makes that possible. They need to detune some things and buff up some other officers. Maybe take a little bit out of Pike, bring the cadet crew up, and bring the actual Reds down a little bit to make it viable, because the one thing being 1,000% better than every other option just shouldn't be. But if it's like twice as good, sure, I can do it. Like, I mean, I totally agree. I don't want them to nerf it because I enjoy it, but like, if I can kill 10 swarms at my level with the cadet crew, and Pike is going to allow me to kill 20, like that's amazing. That's massive. My experience with that was, I could get a level 32 swarm to about half hull, and then I unlocked Pike, and suddenly I could kill almost 8 of them. Like, it's like a 1,600% improvement or something. Like, that's too much.
Okay, we could really dig down into the whole officers, and maybe that's for another video, in terms of who could work well with who. Gives Scopely some of our ideas on what officers do we feel should work. Like, for example, Nero's a big one for me now with an auger and all of that. They could really do something with Nero if they were to go and mess with the likes of Pike, right?
Burning is one of the things they need to fix badly.
Right,
Nero is just,
you know. If you're going to take that away from a player, then at least give them the dream of having an auger with Nero and knowing that there's something out there that if you go a certain road, it's gonna pay off. Right now, Nero on the auger is not... It's always something that I have to keep as a card on the table, but it's not, in terms of officers, it's not what I want to go with, because it just doesn't do what I wanted it to do. And it's nice, and I'll still run with Nero on the auger sometimes, but and I still haven't figured out the best setup for the auger and whatever. But Pike, you know, like down there on these fucking in Perelion, on these separatist bosses on an auger, I was getting something shy, maybe 580 kills without having to repair down in Perelion.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
You know? But I was happy with that, because that allowed me to finish 10th on the leaderboard. Right? Having a ship that I could go down and just keep at it in the same system. Now, you rug guys, Belly, you fucking made life difficult for me. Some of the lads there making life difficult took me out a few times, right? But myself and some of the Hom lads went out and took an early lead, and shout out to Devilman topped that leaderboard. And the Rog guys, Belly, I'll rub it in a wee bit here. Rog guys didn't do too well in that top 10, like.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about it, so I didn't really look at it.
Where did you finish yourself?
But yeah, some of the guys did. I have no idea. I think I fell to below rank 30.
Right.
Like, I tried for a while, and I was like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, I put on a wee bit of a push. I have to have a wee bit of a gloat about this now. Just sorry, lads. Like, I just have to have a wee bit of a gloat about the fact that Draconis was fucking me about a wee bit. Now GT's there as well. I got ahead of GT, but GT didn't give me any real trouble. You know, GT's one of them guys I found that I can farm beside him and he'll leave me alone. You know, same with yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure if I'm in a system, like, there's always a risk, but I'm pretty sure if I'm in a system and you're there farming, you're gonna mind your own business and I'll mind mine. You know, and it's nice when there's players out there you can do that with, but jeez, you've made life difficult for me trying to get back into that top 10, like, and I was glad I hopped ahead of Draconis. I knocked him at a 10th spot, like, and it just about made it. Like, literally, I screenshotted that and sent it to the lads, like, with like 30 seconds to go on the counter, going, okay, I have it now. I'm in 10th. So I was glad about that.
It probably helped for the fact that Captain Caffeine started hitting Hom in the separatist space,
yeah,
and then Phil turned around and started hitting Rog as well.
And Monkey as well. Monkey went out and hit a few. Like, Monkey hit the auger. Like, and I was chatting to Monkey about it. Like, I was saying to him, like, I was saying to him about, like, what the fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm just farming here. Like, what the fuck, like? And he was like, it's not every day I get to hit an auger. And I was like, fair enough, you know. Fair enough, you know. He hit Kronk as well.
Yeah, some
He's a
people
different answer for that.
ships idle in the system, so.
Yeah.
I think I saw your auger idle for quite a while.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, it's an inconvenience. Like, it's not the end of the fucking world if somebody kills it. And to be honest with you, I just wish, like, I don't mind. I'm going to send the auger down here now in a few minutes. I'm going to kill this Saladin first, though, right? And see a couple of the Rog lads. But I'll go down and I'll not mind if I'm streaming if somebody comes and hits me. That doesn't give you a fucking license to go out now and start sending a message to the lads going, he's streaming, fucking go and kill his auger, like, because I don't want that, right? Because I'll put on a PvP crew. But if you're happy as I am to leave it natural and see if any of the lads do, then I'll not complain too much. But, like, I don't want them to do it, like. But what I'm going to do is, I suppose, just while we're on this fractured event and the issue with these bosses, I did this event at a very different time when I had very different ships, as many of you guys did. And I'll put a link to the video below this when the stream's over, like, that they're done on that, because there are lower level guys that won't find it as easy as we are to do this, right? And that probably includes yourself, Flando, as well. You're doing this easy enough on the Intrepid, I'd imagine, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So what I've done just temporarily, because my auger was getting killed by Rog so often down in Perelion, I've equipped the Sally with Pike and Chen, but I've put Theseus on, right? Because these last a lot of rounds. They don't hit very hard, but it goes a long time, right? Now I'm sacrificing mitigation for the Saladin and the big gun with Theseus there, right? Any thoughts on that? Should I have, like, for example, Harrison on there? Against battleships, should I have Moreau, or should I have Pike or Talan?
Nah, if it's battleships, you want Shen. I mean, Talan does help, but Shen is slightly better than Talan against battleships.
Well, I'm gonna look at one battle log here just anyway.
I remember when this event first came out last year, and, you know, we had literally our whole alliance trying to take down just one.
That's right.
Ships, you know. I mean,
you see, they made the ship stronger though.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I thought they would have buffed the boss ships.
Are you happy? Like, all of you guys, are you as happy that this is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. It's easy, but it's to the point where it's like, you know, taking my Intrepid into a level 10 system and killing hostiles, you know. It gets really boring after a while because the chests aren't all that great. I mean, you actually get chests almost every drop, which is nice, but you're still getting just nonsense, you know, Kimari blueprints and Kira blueprints and all this crap. But yeah, I mean, I think they could have made it a wee bit more of a challenge, but I'm not complaining.
They've some hull on them, the fuckers, like.
What's that?
They have some hull strength.
Yeah, but what's that? How many rounds should last?
19.
19.
Like that fucking Saladin is reaching a point there where it's like, without a crit, it's hitting 742,000. Like,
how much hull did you lose?
I'll tell you now. What's that? 5% maybe, 5 to 8% maybe. It's not worth it compared to the Augur, like, or the battleships on them.
I mean, if you're doing it just to complete the event, then you know it.
Oh yeah, no, that's easy. Two hits, like you say, and it's done. You know, yeah, absolutely. But that's not what that's not what stands out for me. That's nice. You know what it is? That's like me clicking the 10-minute chest. That, you know, to me, that's that. It's like, right, thank you very much. That goes into the inventory. What it's really about is the leaderboard. Now, I can't imagine, this is one of the things that will come to bear for us, Belly, when if our server gets merged and there's any real population on the server, these leaderboards are going to fucking change. The ability to get into the top 10 or the top 25, you know, that's going to change, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably a separate video on this subject. Like, I mean, if our server does get merged, I think we need to go live as we're fucking logging in and going, right, what is everybody dealing with, and get as many fuckers as we can from our server in the voice chat and go live and go, this is how the server merge has been handled. Here it is, live and direct, you know. But anyway, that's for another day. Getting in the top 10, 20, top 25 is not going to be as easy. Like, where are you talking about ranking, lads? Like Spork and Flando, where are you ranking in these leaderboards?
Oh, I didn't bother too much about it. I made sure I stayed in the top 25, but I didn't push.
Right.
Anything higher.
I think I got 16th, but
right.
I put pretty minimal effort in.
Okay. And are your servers are regarded as healthy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we've got about 1,500 players, give or take.
Okay, so if you're willing to put in a bit of a grind and you take your gaming seriously, you take your Star Trek Fleet Command a bit seriously, you reckon you're gonna rank in these events anyway?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, what happens if servers get merged, lads, and there's no new players? It's two lots, the same, more or less the same as yourselves, that get put together.
I see server mergers going one of two ways. It's either going to bring a lot of new life into the game, and it's going to make things more interesting as populations dwindle, or it's going to just kill the game.
Yeah.
See, Panic said a couple of things on the official Discord, which strongly hinted towards the server mergers were only happening for extremely low population.
Yeah.
So we don't know what is classified as extremely low population. Under 500, but that's just a guess.
My reading of the situation, the reason I've been doing all of this here, so that eventually I could come and do a video like this. I hadn't decided if it would be a live stream, if it would be a pre-recorded thing, if it would be me by myself, or whether I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought, right, I'll do a video at some point on what I have gleaned from pushing a little bit in a certain direction and in a certain way. Right, that I wouldn't normally necessarily do. I wouldn't normally take to Reddit, for example. I wouldn't normally go out to people on the server and ask them to send messages to anybody or lobby in any way like that, right? Certainly wouldn't be going to ROG and everybody every day and kind of going, here lads, will you just give me your support, you know? However, because it affected both myself and Harry, that war effort, AMS, it reminded me that when one of us gets hurt, it hurts more players on the server, because do you know what I mean? That it hurt Rog. Like, I'm not saying like emotionally necessarily or anything. You know what I mean? I mean in the sense that Rog have that sense of community. They have that sense of who they are, their identity, what they've built, how long they've been around. That when somebody like Harry comes home, they want him to be able to take part, and it's not right that he doesn't. Exactly the same situation for me going back to Hum, right? Exactly the same for Twitcher going to RPH, except he got in just before the fucking thing started, so he was lucky enough, I think. Same with him going to RPH, you know. If Twitcher hadn't been able to get involved in RPH, the three of us would probably still be sitting in Cannes with nothing out of this, you know. It affects us, you know, and it's relevant to us. And I don't know, the way they done it, it just brought it home to me that these events aren't very well thought out, and they're not designed for servers like ours, you know. And when I realized that the game design is not geared towards all of the people on our server, that we are now irrelevant, that Triple H might actually be right in what he's saying, that they just want us to die off, right? That frightened me a little bit, and I wanted to see, did people even care? And there are some people that do care, like, and the likes. I'm glad that the likes of Iron Monkey and Phil and all, they're able to come and join my Discord server, and they're not bickering. There's no shite, you know. A few of the lads, I think Monkey joined anyway. Like, to know that them guys are coming into my Discord channel, and there's no shite being brought with them is great, you know. I'd love to get him advice. I've said that before loads of times, like, but you know, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to lose what we have built. I'm proud of it. I'm forever banging on about it. And so I put on a push with Panic and with Scopely and emailed them and stuff like this that I normally wouldn't ever do. And I think I was fair and I was decent in it. And I was very open about everything. And I took to Reddit, like I said, and I was messaging people and working away on that. And I don't know how effective it was. But what I seen was within days of that starting, there's talk of server merges. It's live now, and it's like we are always talking about server merges, like on the Founders server. Like we're always talking about it. It's always live for us. But to see everybody else talking about it, largely due to the like a Deuce doing a video on it, whatever. But it became a live issue, right? And I'm grateful to Deuce for making that a live issue across the entire player base. Like, we'll forgive the sense of confusion and the misinformation maybe, and the lack of effective communication that was there from Scopely in the first place and whatever, and how that was relayed through Deuce and these other content creators. We'll forgive that. I think because it's been brought front and center as an issue for players in the game. It was relevant to everybody for a short time. Right, it's relevant to us every bloody fucking day, like, right, and other servers out there are the same. And one guy came onto the Reddit post, and very interesting. Another APAC server, APAC 192, and reckons there's only maybe 20 active players on his server now. Right?
Oh wow!
Right?
Wow.
And I was like, no way. How many alliances? He's like, there's basically 3 alliances with maybe 20 active players. Now, there's more players than that, but at any one time he's talking about. Right, so there could be maybe 50 of what you could call active on that server. I don't know what the numbers are. Like, Scopely know, Panic knows. All they need to do is look at the figures and how many people have participated in an event, how many people have clicked. When the splash screen comes up and you hit the X or you hit the OK, that registers
Mm.
for them. You just need to look at the numbers. These guys know what these servers are. They've known it for a long bloody time. But what I seen is that this became a live issue after guys like Monkey and Phil and everybody was saying to me, if we can help, we'll help. And these are guys with a lot of other things on their plate. Real life stuff, in-game stuff, you know. This is all going down in the middle of the whole fucking Farty fucking and Phil and fucking Octo and LKR shit, you know what I mean? Like, so I can't expect them guys to give a wee campaign that I'm launching a lot of their attention. But I don't think it's a coincidence that within a week the entire community then is talking about this very issue, you know. And I don't think it's a coincidence that official channels got the rumour mill moving, yet official channels didn't email me back even after a week, 2 weeks. I didn't even receive an email back. That tells its own tale in my book. So I was testing a lot of little things here, and from what I can tell, I'm glad that guy on APAC 192 messaged on Reddit, because that brings it home how bad it could be for us on the Founders.
Yeah.
You know, imagine being down to the last 20 or 30 belly. You know what I mean? Like, that's
before
bad.
we had our first server merge, we were dwindling. So before we merged with what we call Server 2, a lot of us were starting to fall off and drop like flies. I think we probably had, I'd say roughly maybe 200, 300 people active. That's probably being generous, though.
Yeah. And in fairness, we were probably in the same boat. You know, the two servers were probably in the same boat. Were we on the same server to begin with, before the merge?
Yeah, you and I were.
Right.
Harry wasn't. Neither was Hiltz. Those are the two guys I can definitely remember for sure that were
I know, and there's a bunch of them. That's
what
what I was saying earlier. Like, the DNA is mixed now at this stage. You know, we are one server now. We have one identity now. Like, that's just the way that it is. Like, I have no difficulty with that. We know our history, you know, and that's good enough. Like, I spout about it every so often. Like, but we know our history. I don't want Scopely to forget our history. And I know the guys laugh at me when I say this kind of shit, but I don't see why Scopely wouldn't acknowledge. And if it's not just us, maybe APAC 192 as well. I don't know how long they've been around, right? Maybe the guys that have played this from the start should get something in terms of an event named after them for their server. I don't mind keeping our server separate and locked and closed. Just give us new blood. I don't know. Maybe let us maybe like the American NFL draft system. Maybe we can draft in the likes of Flando and Spork. Like, if the talent scouts are saying that they're good enough, they could hack it. Like, you know. You know, yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, but I don't see why the contribution shouldn't be marked. If it's going to lose its identity or damage the communities that are there, because ROG is a community now, right? Hum is a community, right? Sword are their own distinct community that were arguably absorbed by Hum, but they retained enough. It's like Poland under the fucking in World War II, like, you know what I mean? They might have got squeezed a wee bit, but you know, they retained who they were, right? They kept their culture, they kept their identity, you know. So that's all good. I don't know if Sauce, for example, could come back the way Sword did. It's possible, but I don't know.
I'd say Source is more Borg now.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if any of them, Loki or any of them old alliances that are gone more or less now, could ever come back. I don't know if Ewok will ever come back. You know, you know, maybe if new blood comes in and they're not very cohesive, maybe people will get a boost and it'll change things. I don't know, but anyway, like, listen, that's we'll touch on that before we end the stream again, right? I wanna talk we've talked a little bit here. I fucking need to get down and do a wee bit of gameplay here instead of fucking talking the whole time. Because I was bragging about fucking display. Look at
Real
somebody's after fucking hitting me.
Stop bloating.
Right, Belly. Guess who? What did you tell Caffeine that I was fucking going down to
No.
Constina? Because he's after destroying me fucking. He's after destroying me me Saladin.
You know you fucking
Your stream's actually stuck on the event leaderboard.
Right, so there's going to be
So
a
I can't
delay.
see-
Yeah,
I
there's
can't-
going to be a delay from what you can see, right?
Well, I can't see anything. So when you were telling me that Caffeine was chasing, I was like, okay, this is the first I've heard of it.
Right. No, well, that was 11 minutes ago, so I've been stuck on that screen, and Caffeine's already killed me. But we've looked at a battle log. I don't mind repairing that now and changing to the auger, and taking the auger down to down to the other place, Pirellion. I'll probably get killed there too, but we'll see.
Caffeine just, he's the big bulldog in Rog at the moment.
You know,
keeping
I
on.
was thinking earlier, right? And I was going to say this, and then I decided not to, right? Because me and Caffeine don't really see eye to eye, you know. Now, I don't really, you know, it's irritating sometimes when your ships get killed or whatever. But I don't have an issue with Caffeine, like, really, you know. And that led me to thinking, like, he's probably the inheritor of Skywalker's crown, right? And then I thought afterwards, and you know what? He's not, because he's a very bitter man. Like, he remembers, like, he fucking remembers, like, he's very, very determined, like, and he's very, very, you know, whereas Skywalker was similar traits, but he would reach out to you on Discord, or he'd send you a message, a bit like more like Iron Monkey would in some degree, like, where it'd be like, he'd be just checking in to make sure that, I don't know, that you're not taking it too personally, you know. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, when you bring that up, there's someone in Comm who, when he hits somebody, will PM the person and say, "This is for the infraction of this time and date from when you hit this ship of mine."
oh right,
I can't remember who it is exactly.
it's probably Taz.
No.
Is it not? No.
Taz? It's not Taz. It's not Taz. No. Jeez, I don't even know where to look to find that.
Where are you in today's event?
Me? I've finished the fraction. Like, I don't mind it.
Where are you in the
It just
leaderboard?
reminds me.
Did I pass you already? Where are you in the leaderboard?
Oh, I'm in the 60. I'm at rank 60 at the moment.
You're not,
this
'cause Melio
fraction
is.
empire
How many
shows
points
me
are in
how
your
much I've
leaderboard
progressed.
on your solo?
Oh, there you are. You're 69, Belly. Not the worst number. Top at the moment. Top at the moment is
218,000.
Karma 218.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, my the one yesterday, the top person had like 600,000. Today the top is
yeah.
275, but
Yeah,
second place and down is 133.
No, well, yesterday our winner was on over 1 million.
1.1 mil.
1.1 million, our winner. I can.
And the reason being is
There's-
Fed
there's someone in
tokens
our
to go
line.
towards
Yeah, right
the
now.
enterprise.
Yeah,
So the Fed
Margin is in
credits are gonna be
second.
highly sought after.
Margin is in second at 825,000. I only see 2 ROG in the top 10. Belly.
Yeah.
But I suppose
Yeah.
that means that there's a lot more of your lower level guys spreading it out overall, because there's more of yous, like, but you're not
Yeah,
you're not
but also-
you're not top by accident. You know what I mean?
Oh well, because we got the guys that are like level 40 plus that have their own leaderboards.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess I should say mine's the 29 to 31 bracket. Yesterday the winner was 912,
Well, geez,
and then down to 600s, then to 300s.
Well, I'm at 34, but I'm in the same bracket as the guys at 39.
The bracket's from 32 to 30, from 32 to 39. That's a bracket.
Crazy, isn't it?
Usually, because previous events they'll do it like every kind of 4 ops, like 32, 31 to like 35, and then like 36 to 39, and then like 40 plus. But for some reason, we just decided to pretty much put almost everyone who's above 30 in the same bracket.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. But
just somebody's in chat there, Spork. The Aardvark is in chat saying that you can't leave. That we need him. The Aardvark is saying Spork can't leave.
On
need
YouTube.
Him. Yeah. That must be one of your alliance mates, is it?
Yeah, he is indeed. We have a lot of people represented in Server 26 in the overall global community. It's pretty interesting.
Interesting, but you know what? That's what makes community leaders. How's your server in terms of toxicity and shit then?
There's a few people who are sort of pains in the ass, but for the most part, not too bad.
Do you have like 2 blocks? Do you have like a liberal conservative block? Do you 2 blocks like that? Do you have regional block? Is there like people from the southern states and people from the northern states? Like what, what way these break down?
People are from all over. There's one alliance that's definitely ahead of all the rest. They have a majority of all of the super whales, and then there's a few whales spread out over the next.
So it's more of a
6 or 8.
It's more of a class divide on your server, would you say?
It's become that way a little bit more recently.
Right.
They've got like 12 big whales at level 42 plus, so
right.
It's hard to compete there. I'll put a screenshot in the Discord.
Yeah. Flando, what are we talking about with you guys? Like, is there a class divide?
It's more or less been split between the 2 alliances. I mean, one alliance does have a few more whales. I think the top alliance has like I want to say 12 or 13. So level 40 plus. We've got in our alliance 5 or 6, I think. We're second, and then there's a couple kind of here and there, in other alliances. But
would you say at this stage of the game, right, at this stage of maturity for your server, that whales are starting to break apart and form separate blocks, or they're still more or less sticking together?
No. I mean, the whales that are in... Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, there was a couple of whales who were in smaller alliances who have either moved to our alliance or they moved to the other top alliance. I mean, still a couple out there who haven't, but yeah, a little bit of that has happened. But I mean, we just had a level 40 quit yesterday actually, which was kind of a bit surprising. But I mean, he spent a lot of money on the game, and sad to see him leave. He's in our alliance, but yes, that's what happens, I guess. I have seen a lot of boredomness coming from the whales. When speaking to them, they're finding it quite boring.
Are you hearing them pissed off about this grinding blueprints?
Yeah, that's been. I've spoken with Vinicius about that as well, and a couple other whales privately, and yeah, that was the major bugbear when they changed that. I mean, the way Sculpt have kind of made it out is if it's you can still do it. All right, yes, technically you still can do it, but the time you now have to put in to get one is near damn impossible. I mean, it was already long enough to get one, as it stood. It's I don't know. I know why they've done it, but it's not like they have. I mean, the whales spend enough money as it is to keep the game afloat. Yeah. At least give them something that they can actually grind on. It's not usual for whales to have.
One last question, just in the whales, because we probably just have to get a whale in here, or a couple of whales in here, and do a whale forum some point or whatever. Feel free to let your whales know if anyone's interested in that on any of the servers. But you'd want some sort of spread. In terms of experiences from different servers. You'd want at least 3, for me to be happy with it being a microcosm of what's out there, I'd want at least 3 different servers represented, that kind of way. But suss it out when you're talking to these people. Would they be happy with more cosmetic shit in the game, like pink fucking Saladins, you know, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, would they be happy, or with decals, or skins, or badges, or, you know, would they be happy with a lot more of that? And stuff that's competitive for them, that only the guys, if you've got an enterprise, can you do this? And where you rank, you'll get like something that makes you stand out, like to do with your avatar, to do with your frame, to do with skins, whatever.
I think with that one, it kind of comes down to, you know, why you spend that money on the game. Some of them are doing it just so they're top, and you know they can't get, you know, beaten by anyone else, and that's the only reason they'll pay money.
Well, I found myself, I don't know if you're here yet, Flando, but I found myself getting to a point in the game now where I'm thinking the next logical step for me is Black Jelly. That's the next big target, like.
Yeah, I'm like gone epic ship. I'm way off. I have worked it out. So,
what level are you now?
35.
Right, you're 35. At 36, you can begin participating in the event for the Black Jelly.
Yeah, but I win that. I spend or I save up.
Right, but by the time when you're 36, it's not too hard for you to get to 36 now. You're talking a good year before you're 39, like.
Yeah, I mean, I could go to 36 tomorrow if I wanted to, but
could go what?
I could go to 36 tomorrow,
right?
If I wanted to, but I'm not gonna.
So what I'm saying to you is, but it would be the long haul to get to 39 for you.
Yeah.
Right. Now, doing that, you are still able over time to participate in the Black Jelly event.
Yes.
Right. You will be dealing with people who have already got it, so it won't be a hot topic. It won't be a hot thing. So you will have the potential to gain from that event over that year. That will put you on the road to when you're 39, realistically going, how far off a Black Jelly here am I? I'm about 30% of the way, or I'm about 50% of the way, or 70%, or I have one now, but it's low tier. Now it's the job of upgrading it, which is another year off. You know what I mean?
See, I would kind of agree with that on the basis that the whales that already have one don't spend money just to get another one, because there's been 2 instances in previous jelly events where people who already have the jelly have actually deliberately won the event to stop other players from getting it in the first place. And that's
we've got a whale on our server that has 2 jellies at like 4 million.
Yeah, I mean that's just like, why? That's the fucking definition of being a prick, basically. You know, you're deliberately spending probably over thousand, you know, well over £1,000 easily, just to make sure that someone else doesn't get a ship. You know, I mean, come on. That's happened twice on our server. It's not happened recently, so I'm hoping it's not going to happen again. But the fact that it's happened at all in the first place is ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah. So just let you know here, just while I'm going through this, I'm taking 6 damage, 10 damage, 6 damage, big hits, 61 damage, 61, 56, 59, 7, 6. So I'm taking very, very small damage. I'm trying to see if there's a crit here anywhere.
Oh, wow.
I'm just afraid as well that one of Belly's buddies is going to come along while I'm looking at this fucking log.
Belly's on his way.
Suppose you're worried about everyone else but me. Who I was sitting here before thinking, should I send the Sally or not?
Change your name.
Yeah, well, like I tell you what, Belly, right? If you can hold off the Rog boys from me for a while, I'll let you bring the Sally down and blast away at it all night.
I don't have that much sway.
But can you say something like, Amorgin has promised me to let me destroy his auger 5 times if you fuckers leave him alone for half an hour or an hour.
No.
All right, Amorgin has promised if you want to bring your ships to Pajem at the end of the stream, right? Amorgin will constantly repair his auger 5 times. The first 5 people to destroy it gets to destroy it for free. 5 free hits on me.
Well, by the looks of it, I think you're doing fine at the moment.
One of them hits got to be reserved for you, though. You know.
I mean, you know, you also have Tomb Raider there for backup, so if anyone come after you, I suppose.
Yeah, fucking Tomb wasn't much backup now. The last time, a couple of times I got fucking hit. Just zoned in on killing Reds, and the place could be going in the meltdown around him, and he'd still be zoned in on killing Reds, like, you know.
I mean, I don't blame him.
So, just while we've kind of got a little bit of all that other stuff out of our system, can we return to Borg Arc 4 and the overall Borg thing? I want to get your thoughts on that.
Do we need to relive that, Amorgin?
Yeah, no, keep it as concise or as limited as you want, like.
I'm kidding. Borg Arc 4. Fuck.
I can do it in one word.
Shite. That's what it is.
I was gonna say garbage, but you know yours is better.
It's just like when you get that when you get that present at Christmas, and then you open it up and it's like more wrapping paper, and you open up and it's more wrapping paper, and you open up and it keeps going and it's a fucking empty box, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I
see. I don't understand why they did with the Armadas, where they had a 5-minute timer, but then when you were doing the Mega Cube, it was back up to 15 minutes.
I know.
Because you have to have like a full team to do the Mega Cube. There's no point. It was just to waste our time.
But that's not even a full team.
I mean,
that's not a full team. A full team, I don't know. Like, listen, I'm always whinging about fucking our server dying and all that there, but we've a couple of healthy alliances. You know, our alliances are healthy. ROG is healthy. HOM is healthy. Sword are healthy. You know, Borg are healthy. RPH are healthy. After that, ANS probably do feel the pinch. After ANS, Ewok? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, who else is really left? Like, that hasn't really been fucking destroyed because of the dwindling player population, right? But we have healthy alliances. Easily, any of our main alliances could have brought a team of 10, 15 people to a Mega Cube. No problem. Easy. I'm sure your gauge could do the same, Flando. I'm not sure about your alliance, Spork. Are you active enough, yeah?
Oh yeah, we got about 60, 70 active players a day.
Right, so you could easily turn up a team of 10 to 20 people to do a Mega Cube.
We did, yeah. We had 15, 20 people sitting there waiting, but, you know, the Mega Cubes were so poorly tuned that there was no point in even participating.
But is that not what we wanted? I know it would have been a massive fucking battle log, right? I know it would have been a huge battle log, but they could have changed that to where it was less rounds and more to do with each individual ship. But it's still 20 fucking logs, 20 people's logs, right? That's the only downside I can see to allowing 20 of us to go in and take this on, or up to 20 to go, or let the leader set how many, you know, and scale it, you know, depending on the size of your team, you know. It was a reskin of a normal Armada.
And Morgan, you're missing the point. That would have been fun.
Yeah, well, that's quite cynical, like, but...
no, it totally is. They just missed the mark super bad. I don't know what they were thinking. They didn't test it or try it out. Like, there was no rewards. You couldn't kill it. It was just a waste of time.
I think they knew they were doing this from the start. All of this has been mapped.
Our alliance were the top ones. So the people who had max 3 stars or tier 8, anything below that stood no chance. And even with our strongest team, all the DARs, it still took 5 or 6 attempts. And I'm talking like all over Wales, with 6 Vidars, either maxed or tier 8, all nearly 1 million plus in power. And it still took 5-6 rounds.
And you've got to have the right crews.
For just them to kill one, The rest of it is just fucking, it was like pissing in the wind. Just, nothing happened. Literally just sending a ship to go die and do, or help not at all. I just hate it. I hated it so much. Honestly, it's the same with the Epic Borg. We'll talk. They hyped them up so much. From the very first arc. Do all these tiers, complete the events, blah blah blah. You're gonna get this epic, reward at the end of arc 3, and then it was shite. And then they've done the same with this. You're gonna go to this new system, gonna get to kill some Borg cubes, and you're gonna have this big boss battle, and they don't try.
Might as well piss in the wind.
Test out things.
Do you think, Flando, right? Indulge me in this for a second. Do you think that there's a cohort within Scopely who pay attention to what we say in the panel, right? And have paid attention all along, right? And that somehow what we have discussed is either or both representative of what other players are saying and thinking, and heeded by Scopely, even our own original individual ideas being taken on board by Scopely, right? In terms of some of the ideas that Anisius has come out with have been good ideas. Now, I can't remember the half of them for the life of me, but maybe Scopely jotted down a few of them on a notepad somewhere. Maybe they jotted down some of the ideas that I had on a notepad somewhere. There's sticky posts that they stick all around the place, and it's like, we'll do this, we can do this on a sprint, like Thaler calls it, And back in them days, maybe they were listening to all of our talk about Borg. It feels to me that they listened. They listened very closely. They took a lot of notes, right? But really, what they done was went away and said, okay, this is what they want, let's give it to them. And they just didn't have the first fucking clue what it was we were actually talking about. They actually didn't understand. We can criticize them for not doing it. I actually think at this stage that they listened, but they don't understand the player.
Maybe. I have a hard time believing they actually listen at all at times. It's like when Panic comes on whatever various interview he's doing and someone mentions like broken officers, and his response is, what do you mean broken officers? I don't know about any that don't work. Like, what the hell's going on there? How does he not know that there are no... He thinks none of the officers are broken?
Yeah, I think... Right, I'm going to be as honest as and direct as I can be here, right? I think part of the reason why Panic liked me to begin with, and why myself and Panic built up a relationship, and why Panic was probably very disappointed in me, and because he probably had ideas greater than ideas that I had, right? And I think it was because he lived in Dublin for fucking so long, and he picked up on that kind of Irish sense of humour, sarcasm, all of that kind of stuff, right? He took that away with him. I'm sure he'll acknowledge that that living here did have an impact on his outlook, right? And he took that away with him, and he had an affinity with his Irish experience, if you like. And finding out that there's a bunch of Irish lads here that they were like some of the very first testers of the game and all of that was valuable to him. Find out that there was an emerging content creator from among that as well was valuable to him, when he first took on that job. And I think I disappointed him greatly by taking the stance that I took. But I think he is like this Greek guy that is like 90% Greek, but he's got that 10% of Irishness in him, and when that 10% of Irishness comes out when he's talking in the public forums, I think mostly only Irish, maybe a few Scots or whatever will get it, but it doesn't add up to them because they know they're talking to a Greek guy that's in Barcelona. They're not thinking that he's actually in tune with the piss taking. And I think he's demonstrated that when he's called for people to give him shits in his response. He's being smart ass, he's being funny, he's being a bit one of the lads, and that's what you want. Sorry for that rant.
I get exactly what you're saying, and I would agree to an extent. But I think when you do have that sort of when you can put on that attitude and and you can have that response back, there's a time and a place when to use it, when not to use it. So I think when you're dealing with the official Discord and you're dealing with people who won't probably pick up, what you're actually meaning behind that sentence or that phrase or whatever, then you need to kind of be a little bit more professional with your answer, or at least kind of drop a hint that you're being sarcastic and you're not being.
Yeah, I know.
Your answer.
I know.
Because it's just going to send the wrong message.
And I think, even though I don't like his responses some of the time, I think that, what do you call it, Batman? Is it Batman? He rubs people up the wrong way sometimes in the different forums where he moderates. I think it's Batman anyway. I think he's being very sarcastic sometimes and people just don't get it.
Yeah. He's a bit like Marmite. I hate him and I love him, but at the same time. There's the times I'll say and I'm like, yeah, I totally agree with him. And then I'll see him deliver a response and I'm like, that's a fucking dick response, but whatever.
I picture him to be somebody like Triple H, who's just holding it all back because he's a moderator.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you get chatting to Triple H, like he's in your face, like, and not in a bad way, like, you know what I mean? But he tests you and figures out very quickly if you have any fucking wit or you don't, because of how black your sense of humor can be, and it's very Australian in certain ways, but it's very Irish and it's very Scottish and it's very, that black humor, like, if it get, like Limmy's the prime example. I think I posted a Limmy video or two, but Limmy's very black in his humor, right? I can see people watching Limmy and thinking he's dead serious, and that Limmy treads that line where there's a certain amount of reality in what he's saying, but that's why he does. That's why he's famous and that's why he's known, because he treads that line so fucking delicately and so perfectly. He's like it's like a ballet dance. You know what I mean? Like he just, he nails it every time. But it's very dark and it's very black in terms of what he's really driving at, like.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, with regards to the things that Panic says, yeah, like I said, time and a place. I mean, he does Q&As, which is all good, but yeah, I think when it comes to Discord and people are asking questions, I think they have to be a bit more.
I lost you there for a second, Flando. A bit more what?
Sorry, a bit more professional.
Right.
From their end, it keeps the wrong message.
Yeah.
I get why they're trying to keep it light-hearted at the same time. I understand that, but when an event comes out, especially Borg Arc 4, and everyone's hating on it, that's not the right time to start throwing out sarcastic comments or plays. That's not the time. And it just makes the thing worse.
Right, but what if you're a moderator, right? I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? But what if you're a moderator and you're in a team that some of them you believe are great moderators and some of them you believe leave a lot to be desired, but you work in your team anyway and you get on with it, right? But you are happy to reveal enough of your personality and who you are to this community, and carve out your own wee niche, right? And who you answer to are employees of this company. They're the people that you really ultimately need to keep happy and keep on side and whatever, right? I don't know if moderators get assets or not in the game. Nobody would probably blame them if they did, but it would kind of, I suppose, would damage their credibility on these public forums if it was known that was happening.
Panic has stated that they were. Was it Panic or was it one of the other mods? That they said that they're free volunteers. So I don't. If they're saying that, then they probably aren't be given.
And I believe Phil said that.
Could if they were to really be genuine about it and ask for something, there's certain mods who I think would maybe get something.
Yeah.
Not all of
I'd
them.
say
but
they'd have to be like a
you know what I'm
senior
saying?
mod.
There's some who would, some who wouldn't.
Yeah, and to be fair, probably the answer for that, if Scopely are listening at any stage, the answer to that, or any moderators will listen, the answer to that really is give them an account on another server and bump it up to a certain degree and give them shite that way, but they're not allowed to do it on the server where they play that their main server, you know. Otherwise, stick them into a test server, stick them onto the founder server, and let them test shit. Give them shit there they're going to play with us with.
Oh, great, thank you.
But you know what I mean. You want Rev Deuce to test stuff. Stick them onto the founder server. Let's get Rev onto our server. You know. Same with fucking Sync and any of these guys that fancy anybody NDA'd were basically doing that shit for Scopely. Stick them onto our server, surely. Let's really show them how this game's played. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's what I'm saying. It'd be like the NFL draft. You look around the other servers and you go, right, Flando got what it takes there to be on this server, and I think my game was fucking seized there. How long?
I'll try to buy him into his founder server. I'm not going. No chance.
You know what I was thinking of doing? I was tinkering about with it there just the other day. You know these polls that you do on YouTube? Right? I don't know if you have voted in the poll. Go and vote in the poll if you haven't, right? But I was thinking of doing one and getting it out there. I think I sent it to Rev and all that as well. And it was like, if you were merged with the founder server, would you A, want to join Hum, right? B, because you love Hum and you want to be one of us, like, right? Would you B, join RUG because you'd want to get a crack at Hum, right?
God, it's all about Hum.
Right? Right? Well, it's me asking the question. So it's essentially I'm saying, like, would you join me, or would you join the enemy just to get at me? Right? That's what I'm saying, right? To among the people that follow this channel, right? Or would you join some other alliance and fuck RUG and Hum and build your own thing and take us both on?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would join Can. No questions asked.
No, but you might even join. You might even recreate MWB.
Oh,
right?
these are all fucked up, basically.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking about putting a poll out there. I don't know, to people, and just seeing what they would say. I think that would be an interesting one. I'd love to get a wee bit of a taste to see what people would actually do if they did. Like, it's a moot point now because most servers will not be in the reality of merging with us. We don't even know if we're going to remain locked and be merged at this point, like, right? But
I see a question with you guys because of the little perks that you get from,
like the refinery, like I was saying about the refinery, yeah.
That's the name I'm thinking of. You know, if they were to merge you with like another APAC server, like that APAC server you spoke about earlier on, where they've got 20 active players, if they merge you with them, would they put them into your server and give them the extra refinery, or would they kind of merge together and remove?
Well, see, this is the key point, because the problem with us before, the problem with the two servers, like Belly mentioned earlier, server 1 and server 2, the problem with server 1 and server 2 when they merged and became the founder server, was there was two architectures of the game. I mean, this is my language I'm using. I'm not one of these games developers, right? So forgive me for fucking sounding like a complete fucking idiot, like, right? But there was different architectures of the game, and they couldn't basically transplant one to the other. It was an impossibility. They needed to create a new architecture and combine us both into that, and giving us whatever blend it was of both servers and putting it into one server. That meant we all had to be new accounts, right? To give us that wee bit of a heads up, it was like, we're going to do this on this date, and we will compensate all of you based on your ops level. Everything was based on it. So there was a race, and see that event that they have, race to ops whatever.
Yeah.
None of them have ever seen a scramble to race to ops level the way they did on the founder server when they announced that, right? So my advice to people is, if you think your server is going to be merged, probably upgrade your ops, just in case, right? Now, the difference is that chances are the same architecture, the new architecture that they put us into, is probably the architecture that was there for global launch and that everybody's in. We just have these events, which we know they can create an event and put it onto any server they want, right? That's an easy thing for them to do. Once they've created the event and it runs, they test it somewhere, and then they hit a button and they run that on whatever server they want. No big effort for Panic or any of the guys to push go on one of them events if they need to. That's why they give us reruns of old events, because they just hit the go button, basically, right? I have no reason to believe that we would need a new architecture to merge a server now. I believe it is now possible to transplant a load of new accounts into a server and for them to be much the same as they were. But that could be wishful thinking with Scopely, from what we have seen.
They're already doing that in a sense, like in terms of like baby steps. When you do the server transfer, if you're under level 12,
right,
you take your stuff with you to that new server.
Right.
That's what's happening in a very kind of smaller.
Right. So there's no reason to think that whatever happens even in a common server merge is necessarily reflective of what will happen in the future, because this could be another test run. In which case, we need to screenshot everything, and they need to tell us well in advance. And they probably do need to give us something to say, like, listen, because we're going to be fucking with your game experience and because you're going to be guinea pigs, again, here's a wee fucking thank you to you. I have no problem with that. Like,
yeah. When server 1 and 2 merged, how much notice did they actually give you?
I can't remember, Belly. Do you remember? I don't remember. It might have been. It might have been a month. Was it? Was it only a week?
Surely not a week. Surely, I would have thought at least a couple, maybe even a month at best. But a week.
Yeah, probably about a month. But it was a very busy month.
Yeah.
Not to mention we had wars start up as well, and it slowed everyone down from trying to level up ops levels.
Yeah. Ray's was asking earlier in the stream about what level basically does the Jellyfish stay viable as a good ship, right? And I would say that jelly will always be viable as a ship.
What jelly? The 2-star?
Yeah.
The 2-star?
Yeah.
2-star.
Like, maybe when you get to the mid-30s, maybe when you get to 31, 32, then it really is pointless. But I have seen myself where if I want a quick ship that has a decent range for a low level that's minimal repair costs, if I'm not going to use a mining ship, I'd throw out the jelly just for the laugh, like.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say mid-20s. Once you've got your Kirak and Mari and Vaklas, or Vaklas, whatever you want to call it.
But I suppose cosmetic purposes again is what I'm saying. You know, I think it was before we went live. I was talking to Belly about my hijacked legionary. You know, like, not an awful lot of people have it, and it was like the red D3 as well, which also relates to my question to you earlier, Flando, about the whales and would they be happy with cosmetic stuff, because the red D3 is something myself and Belly talked about earlier. Phil has one of them, and it's this idea that that's a status thing, because not too many people have it.
How has it on the server? Was it just one per server? Yeah, or it
might have been. I can't remember if they ran that event more than once though. But the point of it is that I have a hijacked legionary, so I know too many people like on this server where they've got all of this status because of their length of service to the game, and free to play players have managed some impressive levels because of that, or people who have spent small amounts have reached impressive levels that others would look at and think there might be some sort of mini whale or a dolphin at least, you know. Flando, you're a bit like that too, like, you know, but take a Flando and give him an extra 6 months or a year playing it, you know.
Well.
But anyway, yeah, we've had our progress reset a few times in different ways or setbacks and whatever. I don't know about you, Belly, but I'd be happy the risk of a setback if it was going to invigorate the server. I'd be happy if they genuinely went, we're going to be using you as guinea pigs, so we're going to give you all this thank you, whatever it is. You know, here's
well, what if that setback is to take away our extra refinery? Because that's going to be a big issue.
Well then, but then what I would hope to be testing for them then is increased events with increased G3 rewards. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I would see no issue in them, you know, just giving everyone the second refinery, because they're going on about now that Ops 40 is unlocked.
Yeah, they need to make G3 more available eventually anyway. It just makes sense. It's going to have to happen, right? Like, if the whales are getting restless, and somebody made a point on somewhere else on a comment on a YouTube video or on Reddit or somewhere about, like, what's next? G5. That they have spent, I think they were a level 40, they'd spent a significant amount, and they're sitting going, what's next? G5.
The G5 there already. I'm pretty sure G5 is already there. The prime research from Ops 40 Plus, some of them require G5. I'm pretty sure. If I can get a screenshot, I'll send you it.
Do that.
But it's all them again.
Do that. But this, like, if they're already at that, right? If this is like your iPhone 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, so until they have to reinvent it, basically. They're not ready to reinvent it yet, so it's going to be G5, maybe even G6, you know. At that point, G3 is going to be like one star materials now, like, you know what I mean, and its availability, and people will be coming in with the ability to get to level 20 in a day. That's the way it will have to go, like, because the cap then it gets raised to level 100, and you need to be able to get to level 20 to get G3 to have a hope of getting your first faction ship, so you can get on the faction ladder. The game opens up for you. That's the way this has to go if it can survive, until they reinvent it. They're not going to reinvent it just yet. They might, like, they're making enough money, like, they could reinvent it now, like, if they wanted, but I don't think they're ready for that. And they are this company that has this kind of reputation now at this stage, I would say, for testing their product live, like, you know, that they go live and let the fucking players test it, you know, they iron it out as much as they can, and then away you go with it, and all the bugs and all the stuff that we were notorious for giving out about and all of that, they just haven't changed their ways. Fucking Walking Dead was a debacle, and it's like, now I've lost everything in the system here. There's nothing showing for me in the system at all. Yeah, so I'd imagine G3 is going to have to become available. The refineries, Flando, would be the easy, obvious way to make that happen in a baby steps kind of capacity. It hasn't, I don't know what Belly thinks, but it certainly hasn't made our economy any easier. It hasn't made it where, like, I've hit the G3 wall now with the auger, and it's like, right, I'm going nowhere with this until I get lots more G3, and that's with 2 refines. I'm going nowhere. So epic ships are going to be, like, they're no longer the best ships in the game. I'm looking at it.
Push. I mean, I've sort of worked it out in terms of credits and how much I need. If I was to do all my dailies, kill scouts to get the scout chest every day, and refine the charged nanoprobes for credits as well, and do that.
Hello?
I've not got one officer I can promote without requiring a badge.
You can get the badges from the epic Armada chests.
Well, no, yeah, but they're not common. I think I've
Yeah.
had one badge.
Has anyone ever actually gotten one from an epic chest?
I've had what I think. I don't know if I took a screenshot, but I'm sure I did get one badge like when they first came out. I've never had one since. So I mean, they're not common to get, and that's the other thing that's put me off. Is I'm sitting with all this offset, which I cannot spend.
Yeah, the badges do seem like paid for item now though as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you could get, I think it was one free, from each faction. That was nice. But they went pretty quickly. When you've got rare officers at level 15 and level 20, and you've got epic officers at level 10 or level 15, you're spending in some cases 2 badges for one officer. So yeah, they don't last long. That's the thing. So yeah, so I'm at quite a dead end right now with where I am. I'm more or less going to be just grinding for the next few months with very, very limited progress.
Not to mention with the few events that roll around that may have an event store that you can buy or a blueprint.
Yeah,
Or,
any
faction
faction hunt. Yeah, I mean, I hope they bring them back soon because I like the fact that they were doing them quite. It was quite consistent. They had with them, so I'm hoping that does happen. After this event, but we'll wait and see. So I know that they're looking to focus on. Was it? I think it's augments they're looking to bring back, or can I revitalize in that sense? But I don't know what they're going to do with them. I mean, I've not mined data, and I don't know how long. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's not
even
even.
when an event comes up, pretty much half the time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's impossible to even get one because so many people have a botany bay, and it's just crazy.
I mean, they still haven't even rolled out, Swarm Jailer.
Who?
Swarm Jailer.
Who's that?
Well, they call it Borg Jailer because of, 5 of 10.
Nah, I know who you're talking about. I'm just saying that because no one does yet.
Like,
we've had this.
Why,
I'm spoken damn about this.
I don't understand why Borg Jailer came out first.
I know.
I mean, it was the first thing I said in official Discord when I saw 5 of 10. I'm like, what the hell is the Swarm Jailer?
Maybe they were going to release her, but she got kidnapped by Borg.
Panic did explain it, actually. They had a technical problem with her ability, so they still haven't been able to fix it, and they still haven't released her. They meant to release her with swarms, but they still haven't figured out how to fix her ability.
So she's broken. I mean, it's not as if they've not got broken officers in the game already, so you can just add that onto your list.
This would be the first time they've realized that any officers are broken, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time, I think it was Severus that was broken as well.
Severus, there's another one. Was it Tanar or something, or Talara, something like that? He was in the event store, and then they removed him a couple of hours. Remember? I can't remember his name now.
Because he was doing the Ogwa's broken ability where it would revive the station, the Armada and ship. Yeah.
And he's not back yet out there, so.
Belly, I'm not sure if Barf is chasing me around the system or if he's fucking.
I don't know. Hang on. I was setting my ship off to do a faction mission for Feds.
He's out in his Intrepid anyway. The battleships are doing really well on these separatists anyway. That Augur's just kicking fucking ass. Like, there's Hilts. Will he leave me alone? Fuck. I don't think so. I think... Did Hilts take me out already? There's Kitty.
I'm not saying that just to kind of put your Augur down, because I love the Augur and it's an absolute beast of a ship, but it's pretty much because of the crew.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, Spock said it earlier, you can use any ship from like Vidar and up, and you'll at least get a few kills per trip.
Yeah. There's DJ. I see DJ out. It looks like a Burrell. I'm thinking.
Jazz also in
if I'm going to build another ship, I was thinking Burrell. Be honest with you.
Burrell's good for PvP.
Brielle's a good ship.
It's not the best at PvE, I'll be honest.
It's not bad in this
What is-
event, I
Mine
believe.
was fine in. I
Right.
did fine in PvE on the Braille.
Right. If we forget Pike, Moreau, and Chen, because that just nullifies that you can't say that ship's good when you're using that crew. Any ship is good when you have that crew. You put cadets on a Braille and compare it with a Gladius and an Intrepid. The Braille is the worst of the three in terms of PvE. I'm not saying it's a bad ship to use, but in comparison to its other ships of the same grade, it's the worst of the three in PvE. But I've seen a lot of people use it for armadas and PvP. PvP especially, actually.
Do you know what I can honestly say about this event? I don't know if you're feeling this or not, Billy. This has brought great activity levels. A lot of people are logging in and taking part in this. A lot of people are. Maybe it just feels like it's a lot to me, you know what I mean. But people are trying to get on the leaderboard of this.
I think Barth's trying to scare you. Because I was just watching your stream and he flew close to your augment and then
He's done that. He's either watching the screen or he's letting me know that you're right now. This is ROG territory. Piss off.
Just with your comment.
The only reason you haven't been hit is because Belly's in that stream with you and he's one of ours.
I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, with the Fractured Empire, as easy as I do it now, it just shows how much of a progression I've had, because when it first came out, oh my god, I couldn't take out a boss ship at all.
Yeah.
I had to hit it with multiple ships to finally take it out.
Yeah, and I was doing the same
then
thing. But
the second time it came around, it was a little bit better.
Not to burst your bubble,
Because
Belly.
my ships were upgraded.
Yeah, not to burst your bubble. That's not just all your progression. They did make the ship stronger. Like everybody's doing better. You know. But I hear you. I'm much the same as yourself. I'm level 34. You know, I can now feel the benefit a little bit of all of the effort. However, maybe if we merge servers, I lose all of that. You know what I mean? Maybe the last time we merged, I think I was getting into the top 50 because of the population had dropped. I'm getting into the top 50 now. By the time I get into the top 50, they're going to merge us again. Like, I've never been number one. Like, you either at this rate,
players.
like, you know. I thought this was like fucking Highlander, you know, last man standing. Hi, well.
Comments, Amorgin, you mentioned about it feels if you've seen more activity with this event. I would kind of argue that to an extent because of the only 3 systems you can do the event in. When you've got other events on,
Aye, true enough. Yeah, people aren't scattered around the place. Yeah. They're gathered. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously most people are focusing on Thralian because.
So is that a good thing that they have focused our activity into, concentrated it, so that we feel like we are actually playing with each other a little bit more?
I don't think they've even thought of that. If I'm being honest, I don't think that they've even took that into consideration.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's a happy byproduct.
People have been asking for the event for a long time, and now that Borg is over, they thought here's a good time to give them the event that they've been asking for a long time.
Yeah.
Not thinking, let's try and get them all together to do this one. I don't think they've even had a 1 second thought of that, in my opinion.
Happy byproduct. Was somebody trying to get in there?
I definitely think that it might be a sort of artificial thing where this is the first time there has been anything not Borg, and especially with the terrible 4th arc. So like anyone's looking for anything different to play.
Yeah. I mean, give us the battle events back. The battle tokens, those rewards were actually worthwhile. Tokens.
What events?
It was it was a separatist event, and
for Fractured Empire,
the battle tokens.
That's right,
and you can
Batleth
spend them
tokens,
in an
yeah.
event store.
Oh yeah, that had really good rewards. I was pretty low level at that time, so I didn't get to take advantage of it very much.
Yeah, I
But
think,
if I recall, it was quite nice.
yeah, out of all the event stores that I can remember, I think that was by far the most rewarding in terms
So
of value.
take heed, Scopely.
Mm.
Next time you run this event, give us the Batleth tokens and
I'm pretty sure
let
that's
us
why
cash them
people
in.
voted for this event. We thought we were going to get that store.
That's why I did. Yeah, exactly.
That's why I did.
So, right, so, like, I think, was it Rev that done a video, was like, you voted for it, you asked for it, here it is. Was that him? Was it?
Yeah, well, we've got part of it. We're not got
Right,
all of
okay. So, right, so is this a case of, like, right, a load of people are, like, being consulted, right? It's like the king is sitting in his castle and the king is going, we need to show here that we're consulting the plebs, like, we need to consult with them, we need to put out a questionnaire, we need to ask them what they think. Let's give them a little bit of power here. Let's let them vote on what event they want. So they put together the whole thing. Panic, you do your bit. Gala, you do your bit. And they're all sent off and they're all working away and we get the vote. And then they look at the results and they go, okay, what did they vote for? They voted for that. Right. But if we give them that, then they're getting that. We don't want to give them that. So, what do? But they voted for it. Okay, well, give them that, but take that out of it.
Yeah.
I was like, right, okay. And then it's like, there you go. This is what we're giving you. Rev, go and proclaim to the masses that we've just delivered on what they said they wanted, when really they didn't.
What they could have done too, when it came up with the whole voting thing as well too, because I have a feeling they knew that people were going to vote for Fractured Empire because of the event store. Now, what they could have done on the vote thing, saying Fractured Empire, but no event store.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watch they get 0 votes.
Maybe they did say it in a big long fact. It's a big fact.
Well, John did say something about that it had an event store, but one other time that the Fractured Empire came back, there was no event store. So John,
right. So basically, this isn't the first time they've run Fractured Empire without the event store.
Yeah.
So we are giving you.
Yeah, what it says in the description is Fractured Empire scored points in this event by defeating separatist hostiles and bosses. Only had an event during active war and has otherwise only run without an event store. Sorry, only had an event store.
Has anybody
during active war.
posted anything about this on Reddit? Does anybody follow? Does anybody pay attention?
I don't think anyone pays
look at
attention to the Reddit. Scopely doesn't leverage it in any way, so it's just a bunch of people who haven't found the Discord yet.
Yeah, but also it's an easier place to stand out because they still have to look at it. So you know, it's a voice can be heard.
I mean, do they though?
Well, listen, Discord is a mess. Discord is a clamour of fucking voices that you can hear nobody. Right?
Yeah.
Until Panic or Gala or somebody decides to grace the community with their presence, and then people start to.
Sometimes
it
my
becomes
Gala gives work.
Yeah, it becomes a bigger clamour, but more voices are heard because they're given a platform. Right? They're reading everything, but they're only engaging what they want to engage. What they're allowed to engage, probably, you know.
Are Panic and Gala reading Reddit? Because I doubt it.
I'd say they have to look at it once in a while. I'd say they have to. I'll tell you an interesting one. Now, I don't know. Thaler would be a more interesting guy to talk to about this kind of stuff because he seems to have insights there that I don't. But when I done the video on, what was it, glasshouse.ie, was it, where you could look into companies and what they pay people and...
Glassdoor.
Yeah.
Glassdoor, that's it. Right. So when I done the video on Glassdoor, everything was there and you could see it and I recorded it and it's there and, you know, I went through it as best I could in terms of an analysis, my analysis of it, right? And my thoughts on it. I checked it after that. And there's a load of stuff redacted in it, right? I I'm pretty sure Scopely went in there and done that because somebody spotted what I had done. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that even though I'm only getting 200 or 300 views on a video here and there, I'm pretty sure they're listening. Not because they're interested. If they can glean some ideas, like we said earlier, yeah, absolutely. But they're listening, which tells me that they're paying attention to Reddit. They're paying attention to every social media platform that they've got. Right? They're not reacting to any of it. They'll react in the places where they choose to react, which is really through the official content creator channels and Discord. You know, like that's all that's very obvious to me. Like, yeah, I never get an open reaction, I doubt, from Scopely. You know, I'm a fly on their windscreen. You know what I mean? I never get, you know, but I'm pretty sure they pay attention at times. I'm pretty sure it's somebody's job to do that, and
you mean like the community manager?
Possibly.
That's very explicitly that job.
Yeah, possibly, or somebody there that, you know, like you could give a remit to somebody working in the design department, for example, to say these folks are constantly talking about ideas for the game. You now need to go, and part of your remit is going to be now to just pay attention to that. And this designer could be sitting there going, great, what are these fuckers talking about? Oh, right, now I can't do that. What fucking planet are they on thinking that I can do that? This is a stupid fucking mobile game. These guys should be off playing World of Warcraft or something, right? But, right, those guys might be sitting there going, but that idea, I can do that. That's sort of comes back to what I was saying there earlier about, I think they're listening. I just don't think they understand. And that's our fault for not being able to communicate it in a way that they understand. This is what Thaler has always told us. Use their language. I
strongly disagree.
I think he's right. I think he's right. I think what we had in Thaler, right, and it's a full credit to Thaler, because I've spoken to a lot of people who are nerds and, you know-it-alls, almost, out in the community. The people who step up in a chat somewhere and start telling you what they have figured out and sometimes it's drowned out, and sometimes these people are on the ball. I've spent a lot of time trying to talk to these people and trying to encourage them to come and talk to me, because they seem to know something that I don't. So I'm creating a platform here, come and use it. And I've seen some of those people go on to greater, bigger platforms than what I can offer them. Right? Thaler's one of the guys that was never really looking for a platform. Other people took to the platforms brilliantly. Thaler never really looked. Thaler went the other direction, played something else. Right? Everything that Thaler has said to me, I think, is accurate in terms of advice for how to communicate to Scopely, because I think Thaler knows what it would be like to work for Scopely. Right? I don't think Thaler has even fully revealed what he knows about how this game works. And we were no longer impacting on the game in the way that Thaler was happy with. So he went the other direction. He just gave up on it, practically.
Well, I don't think you're wrong there. The part I disagree with is that I think it is their obligation to figure out how to listen to the community and get that feedback. It's not on us to figure out how to tell them the same thing 30,000 different ways.
You know what I'm going to say to you? You know what I'm going to say? I think that Panic knows. I think Panic understands. I'm not saying communication is Panic's strong point. I'm saying he understands. He can see it, I think, from the player's perspective.
I mean, though, I just don't think I
don't think he gets listened to. But I don't think he gets listened to. When he gets it, I don't think he gets listened to. Maybe that's because he can't communicate it upstairs. Maybe Gala's a better communicator that way, right? So maybe she does that bit now and he doesn't, and so what he understands gets forgotten. Maybe the man's jaded. Maybe he's just deflated, and maybe he's just battered and bruised, trying to shape a community that he believes in and run in the brick walls in his line of work. maybe people maybe people like me have made his life a misery because he has to listen to me. It's his job. Maybe he has to sit and listen to every minute of everything that I say in case he misses something. Maybe he has to. Maybe it's painful for him. Last week I done a 6-hour fucking stream. A man might have had to listen to me doing a 6-hour stream. You know what I mean?
I've worked closely with community managers before, and like, if they are unable to get what people are saying, what the feedback is, absorb it, and then effectively communicate that to the developers and the designers, they need to have a different community manager, because that is that job. If he's not able to communicate that up, he's not doing his job, and they should find somebody else. It sounds cutthroat, but like, that is literally what his job is.
What if he's only there to be a bum on a seat, and there's no real value placed other than like tokenism, right? You know, you see it. Some companies to get around legislation. The black guy in the room. You know what I mean? We have to show a balance, and you'll get this. Still goes on to this day. It's fucking ridiculous and it's awful. But sometimes they tick boxes and say we have to comply with this legislation or whatever it is. So we need to have like this sort of balance. Hiring a woman because there's some gender equality thing going on. So there will be companies that'll go just hire that woman as a bum on a seat. You know, this sort of shite goes on. What if the community are this disenfranchised group here that have to be catered to, but it's a bum on a seat? It's not really what's valued in the room. That's not what they're about. They just have to do it. And Panic's the guy that gets fucking it all burdened on him.
I mean, maybe he's a professional scapegoat. I don't know, but
exactly, yeah, no, exactly. There are guys who
right,
do that.
That does not bode well for this game or this company.
True.
Also, you were talking about me being cynical earlier. Man, that is the most cynical thing I've heard in a long time.
Listen, I'm going by language that I have seen. Like when we read anything that Panic or Gala or Scopely put out. Now, this is bearing in mind that this comes from employees that have a good grasp of English and know what they're talking about, right? So if Panic comes out and makes an official statement, you know that even though they've messed up the delivery of it a few times, you know that this is something you can take to the bank, that the upstairs at all levels, this has been decided upon, right? He has not delivered he's not communicated it to the community, and nobody has. Gala hasn't. Nobody has managed to do it. But you can take their word for it when somebody like that comes out and says, "This event is going to be happening next week. This is decided."
I just really hope you're wrong.
Their language has already said spork. When we analyse it and we look at any of this that comes out of them, and if you go back through it, you'll find this, where they have used words like survive in terms of referring to the game. Now, granted, I haven't seen it in more recent times, but I have seen language used by employees of Scopely where they have talked about if this game is to survive. And that's after global launch, but not very recent. Okay, if these guys are using this language, it clearly means that they are not certain. However, if you
I don't know if someone is like missing something entirely, but like if their concern is about the game surviving, then they should be doing everything they can to ensure that. And it seems like they're doing almost everything they can to sabotage that.
I do think that's a perception. I don't think that they're actually trying, I actually don't think they're trying to sabotage the game, and I'll throw my hands up and admit I haven't made life easy for some of them when I've fucking been calling it, and I've been saying this is a fucking disgrace or this is ridiculous or whatever, I know.
Sure.
I know I haven't helped, but I'm not here to make a Scopely employee's life easy. You know, I'm here to speak as much of the truth as I possibly can without being too unfair to anybody.
I don't mean to say like the developers are intentionally trying to like kill the game. I just mean like somebody is being very short-sighted and they are not taking the steps that they need to take to make a successful game and community.
So
and something
I talked about. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about it, but something I certainly talked about to Thaler and others. There is the culture in any company. Like you take any company, they'll have their own culture, and there'll be certain ways that they kind of think communally. You know, culture. I think in this company is a big factor. It screams at me that it's the culture, it's the office culture, it's the culture of it's how they communicate, it's the culture, it's how they've been reared, it's you know, it's the way it's done for them. And I think you're attacking their culture by asking them in their mind, you're attacking their culture by asking them to do things any different. Are you gone?
I'm here. Yeah. I don't know. I just think I feel like the communication with the community is something that's really key, and they are either Panic is inept or they are not allowing him to do his job. And either of those are giant problems. So
if you take in human error, every like Panic's a human being. He's going to have times when he's facing challenges in his personal life that might translate into the quality of his work. This can happen.
But every single time for a year and a half?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you combine human error and human fallibility with strong flavors of lockdown and censorship of what we reveal to the public, what we reveal to the players, what he's allowed to do. You take a strong flavor of that and human error, human fallibility into the equation, you probably have a cocktail there that creates a mess that we see on occasion. It is a bit of both. It's probably a heavy splash of fucking Panic not being allowed to do his job, and in the areas that he is able to do his job, he faces challenges, whether they come from personal life, office culture, you know, whatever it is, he faces challenges, and he's not perfect. And I think this is why we're in the situation we're in, and I don't think that we're going to come out of it anytime soon until senior people step up and make a point. Say, okay, I have heard the community. I understand, or I want to understand. Explain it to me. One of the reasons why I reached out to a former Scopely employee before I started making a bit of a noise about our server and not being allowed into that event was to guide me, to see if I'm missing anything here. And that player, you know, I'll not name them, but a thank you to them if they do happen to listen at any time, for being forthright and straight with me. That player in question hasn't been in touch, they were saying, for a number of months, but they kept in touch after their time employed by Scopely had ended, and was aware of the state of the game, and plays the game currently. So that's an invaluable... it's hugely valuable. It's priceless to have a resource like that on your server when you're talking about possibility of server merges and the culture being challenged by new players coming in, or us going to another place, or whatever way it works out. There's some good people out there, and I know, you know, some of them talk to me. I know that they have problems in there. It takes a senior person to come and do a community panel with us fuckers and have the thick enough skin to actually sit down and honestly and openly talk about shit that affects the players. Sorry, I'm ranting on there, lads. I'm not able to fucking target any of these boss separatists. There's a lot of them getting stuck. There's one. There's a lot of them getting stuck in the system. You know, like graphically, just they're not moving.
Yeah, they're just sitting there.
Go to system, then locate your ship. That unlocks a lot of them.
There's not much for me to be killing around here. These lads are they're on the ball and I'm in the wrong spot. And,
They're sitting on the spawn point.
This is really good, I think, as well. Really good positive about this event is it's really teaching us. Well, it's reteaching us because we used to do this before. It's really teaching us about camping on spawn points. And the PvP that can come along with competition for spawn points. You give us a system like this that we can go into where every boss drops a shit ton of whatever materials. You'll have a lot of people camping, a lot of competition for spots, and you'll have teams of people in trying to dominate one spawn point. There's an idea. Will we copyright that, lads?
No, just
why not?
Right. I'm not gonna cover too much then of the Borg stuff. I think we've said enough on that. If anybody has anything, shout now about the Borg stuff that they want to say.
Actually, did anyone notice that the other 3 arcs, the milestones you'd be getting, or even the Alliance rewards, you'd be getting Ultra Recruit tokens, and this time on the 4th arc, there wasn't?
In terms of the
they
event
released
rewards.
2 new epic officers.
Not all at once, Jesus Christ.
I think it's because they released the new epic officers and put them in the ultra token packs, so if they gave you those shards, then you wouldn't have to spend the money.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing that I didn't like about it is the way to acquire the Mega Borg, the Mega Cube Armada tokens.
Yeah.
Yes, you could get it free via the Alliance milestones that Amorgin and Harry couldn't participate in to get the rewards as well. Or the other way was, by packs.
Yeah, well, you know what I think they should do about that, Belly? As an apology to our entire server, I think they need to give us a specific event, right? And this event is just for a bit of fun. The rewards even for this event don't have to be great. I'll concede on that, right? But give us an event where within, and this would be good for any server, especially if you're going to merge, right? It'd be a bit of fun. This would shake it up, right? Give us an event that's named after Hom and Rog, right? And it's all about jumping around alliances. So to complete it, you have to have been in 10 alliances within one 24-hour period or something mad like that, right? And you're not allowed to, it has to be an alliance that has existed for X amount of time. You have to have jumped in and out of alliances, and allow people to go and create fucking new alliances and make 10 alliances, but you're giving them something crazy to do that's not really going to impact on the game, you know what I mean? And
do you just want to see the server burn?
No, because I think everybody will go back home anyway. I think everybody will just do what they need to do to complete the event and then go back home. But it would be a nice tongue-in-cheek kind of way of saying, okay, we messed up on being a bit overzealous on worrying about exploits of this event. We're going to give you a stupid shit event here as an apology, marking your service to the game, and it's all going to be about jumping around alliances and force Rog and Hom to fucking jump into each other's alliances.
Well, it's not above them to put in events some kind of notification, because I'm not sure if you remember back when, back on the founder server, back on server 1, where we had formed UCA.
Yes, you're going back.
Obviously, the coalition. Yeah, the coalition of alliances, rather than just calling it a NAP group or whatever. and on one event, it was a PvP event, and it said in it, there is no there's no such thing as UCA. Because it just, made everyone
Yeah. It was that wee personal touch.
Yeah, that little personal touch, like they could do something like that for
Yeah.
fans, I suppose.
Easily. Like, you're talking about just naming it, but you're talking about text. Like, that's really it. Like, it's what you name it. They can change that, you'd imagine. They could reskin an existing event, but I'm sure they could come up with an event where you score by joining alliances. You know, 1 token for joining one alliance with a limit of 10.
Well,
and then
they'd have to remove the 8-hour lockout from joining alliances then.
No, because
no.
because that's only to return to your alliance.
Yeah.
So you'd have to leave your alliance for a little while if you want to do this event. Even if it is to create 8 new alliances just to jump around them all, you can't rejoin any one of them for 8 hours. So you have to spend a bit of time out of your alliance. That's the thank you.
8 hours isn't that much.
Hey? 8 hours isn't that much.
8 hours isn't that much anyway.
Or speed ups. You know the way people exploit the speed ups. Like, wouldn't you love to see an event come from Scopely to go, right, we're going to have a laugh about this. We're going to turn it into a feature, and we're going to say that if you manage to get 500 speed ups in a 24-hour event, you will get these rewards.
Especially depend on the rewards to be worth it.
Exactly.
I want to throw one cynical point in there. If you're just asking Scopely to change some text, can we talk about the Saladin gun types and like the guns and the Bortus and stuff?
I know. That's shocking that the likes of that still hasn't been picked up on.
And the wording on the new Borg officers are bad.
Yeah. But there has been this thing about it not being English not being the first language of the person writing that. That's been said before, like. Yeah. Right. Is that it on Borg, lads?
Hopefully.
Right. I'd better look at the chat. I haven't been
Chapters
paying any
1
attention to
through
the
3
chat.
were fun because they had good rewards and were varying events. The Borg mod part was not so great. I kind of liked the 5-minute timer uncommon and the rare and epics. Like, they seem to have a pretty good difficulty arc. 5-minute timer is really nice, and it was fun to have the Vidar be a weird ship with weird crew and stuff like that. Like, that was all cool. I just wish there was like a point in doing them. Like, if they just leave those systems there and then give them something akin to the current Armada points, where you can like turn them in for packs and get, I don't know, Borg whatever stuff, like, that'd be super cool. They're really fun. Maybe I'm alone.
Some of the ships are jumping across my screen here, lads. It's almost like old 8-bit console kind of jumping across the screen. If anybody can see that in the stream, let me know if you've spotted that. I just want to mention some of the people in chat. Chowder Pouch reporting for duty. On my servers shut down the whole system. You show up, you're getting blown up. Don't even participate. The ships are too strong. Not sure what level Pouch is, but
He's saying, is that not Iron Armada? Iron Armada is not quite a powerful alliance on their server. Like,
what server is that?
I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure they've got some pretty chunky whales. I'm pretty sure.
Right. And so you were looking like whales have locked down these systems, and if anybody shows up, they'll kill them basically.
I think that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Right. Now, here's a question then that I would have: if that's the way a group of whales are going to behave together, if they come across players like Flando or myself or whoever, like any of you guys, like, right, that have gotten to a reasonable stage that you mightn't kill their ship, but with a wee team behind you, you'll destroy their ship maybe. Right? You might have a few heavier hitters in there. Like you could bring an Aesius along with you, for example, Flando. You know what I mean? You all take your pop and an Aesius can finish it off when the shields are down or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So you could give them a wee headache. Do they really care about their ships and their ships being killed that much that would give them cause to say, let's have a wee bit of peace, we don't want this happening? Or did it just not give a shit?
I'm not on that server. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
He's on server 20, he said.
Well, that would be my question, you know, like how would they respond to meeting weaker players, yes, players that cannot go toe-to-toe with them one-on-one, but where a group of them could actually irritate them and annoy them a bit. To where it would make life easier for them to create a bit of space for these guys and give them a chunk of the system. You can have 2 nodes, there you go. Stay in your place that we've allocated you, we'll dominate the rest of the system.
I think some would not bother, some would just like the aspect of having the PvP element.
Yeah.
And just keep sending their ships back. I don't think it would be a complete resolution, but
yeah, and
still would be something to try.
Could an alliance like that, do you reckon, lock down all 3 of them 26 systems or just one?
I don't know. I don't know if IA's exact full power.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pouch is listening. He can maybe give some insight.
Anybody want to take in on any guesses? Is there an alliance out there that could easily lock down all 3 systems? You reckon there is, Spork?
That would take a lot of power.
Would.
You'd have
and
to have
a
all
lot
the
of
way
time
over
and
one
effort.
spot.
Like you'd want an alliance with like 80 slots, and you'd want 20 of them guys split over the 3 systems. So you'd want 6 or 7 of them in each system around the clock.
Well, there
I could see maybe
alliances
one alliance locking down one system, but all 3 seems impossible. Maybe like a coalition of alliances, but that's still crazy. You'd need so many whales.
Yeah. So
I've heard there's some on some servers there's alliances out there that did kind of like what Rog did with having Rog B, Rog C, and all that sort of stuff.
it happens.
Yeah.
That they have alliances like that, and they've got like 70 plus members in them. So an alliance like that would be able to lock down all 3.
Most of the big alliances on my server have at least 2 different rosters.
Yeah, well, ROG
We had
have
3 recently.
RPH is the ROG B team, like, you know, there's no 2 ways about it, like.
No, we're just close allies with them.
But at the end of the day, you know, yous have been like that for so long, like yous mightn't have gotten married, but yous are common law husband and wife. That's just the way that it is. There's children, there's probably fucking grandchildren at this stage, you know. There's a wee ship skipping across the system. What else have we got here? Did we say? Belly, I got the sense talking to you briefly yesterday that you had stuff about the game on your mind. Was I right?
Oh yeah, we're just gonna chat about the Fractured Empire stuff.
Okay. Have we
We've
covered
already,
this
kind of
sort of
covered
stuff
that.
you wanted to talk about? Like, have we covered?
Yeah, I mean, every time I see the Red Brielle, I kind of just want one. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they, brought out some cosmetics for the ships.
To give us one of
Pretty sure,
these
like-
boys,
Yeah.
like to give us one of these separatist
Yeah.
chips, like.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
The Burrell is so ugly and doesn't match the other Klingon ships. I'm really disappointed. It's just this boring gray with nothing going on, but like the D3 and the Fortis and the D4, all of them have all these really interesting colors and like they're dynamic, and the Burrell's just gray.
Yeah, a red barrel would be nice now. All right, you're onto something there. Yeah.
Oh, they would make an absolute killing if they sold ship skins and stuff like that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You'd want to bring in something though, like they'd have to, if they want to really make money of ship skins, they'd want to bring in more interactivity with your ship where you can sit and, you know the way when you go into your, let me see, it was a good example here. Right, so I'll go into manage ship and I can go in and have a wee nosy around and see what she looks like and all of that and gaze in awe at my lovely machine, right? Bringing in a little bit more interactivity with your ship where you can zoom in on it maybe, and you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like they do good CGA stuff. You could bring CGA stuff maybe into the game. I don't know, maybe that would be too technically demanding, but you know,
I would like to see more combat animations as well. That would be an interesting thing to change up. Maybe like have several different options for each combat, or even sell different combat things. So you know, you can
but you see, if
give
I
them
go
$20
out
and have your ship do loop the loops or something.
see if I go out and Belly attacks me here, right? And I'm looking at the battle log. I want that battle log to be able to look at Belly's ship as much as I'm looking at this ship now in my own managed ship in the dry dock, right? I, you know, when I go into my battle log there with even the Separatist boss, the NPC, I can't really look nice and closely at that. It's just a static image on the screen. So,
Yeah.
you know, if I want my auger to look amazing, I want my auger more interactive and doing something. I want to be able to zoom around and look at the auger here, the one that's after killing me, and you know, if it's a really flashy ship, I want it to be kind of going, yeah, that looks badass as fuck. You know, it makes me feel better that I died to somebody who's badass than somebody who looks like a complete and utter fucking noob, like, you know what I mean?
I think that's a giant revenue stream that they're missing out on. Make us be able to see the ships more, and then sell us a whole bunch of garbage to make our ships flashy and unique.
Yeah. I wonder would that satisfy a certain amount of what the whales are unhappy with as well.
Probably.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys, before we start to wrap this up? We've been at it for a while.
No, can't think of it.
Here's a couple of lads flying in there. Or zoomed in quite a bit.
I still actually have my doubts with the merge.
Have your doubts as to whether it'll happen for our server?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, time will tell, but...
I mean, if anything, the thing that would probably still lock our server down would be the bonus refinery.
I don't know. I don't see why they couldn't bring people onto our server. If there's only 20 or 30 or 50 active players on another server, and they're vaguely in the level range that the average player on our server is, why not? You know, or low level guys, if you're in your level 20s or something, dump them onto our server and give them a big compensation package and say, sorry about this, but you're going to be just like, this is, you know, you're going to have a hard time here, but we're giving you all of this free shit here to smooth it all over and let you level up a little bit faster than you normally would have.
I don't think they're going to do something like that again, though.
You know?
It would be good, but probably won't happen. Not to mention, if they do server merges, they could actually split us Aussies off.
They could.
You know, the Irish.
They could.
And put us into different servers.
That'd be a bit fucked, though. That'd be bad. That'd be a bad act, like. But didn't Panic refer to something like that? They wanted to maintain the integrity of the communities that exist on them servers.
Yeah, so they probably wouldn't do something like that. It wouldn't surprise me if it still did happen.
Well, I'm quite happy with the idea that at least Panic, like if it's only Panic, I'm not so happy. But I'm happy with the idea that where it matters within Scopely, the integrity of a community, whether that's founder server or anywhere, is being taken seriously. This group of players who have played together and whatever else, and they have formed their alliances and all of that, that they want to maintain that. Like, whether it's our server or not, I'm happy enough that that they're saying that. I just hope that that is the case. Right, well, that's another wee bit of Star Trek Fleet Command done, lads. If you have nothing else, I'm going to end the stream, I think. You're going to go back and play Star... What is it? Give it a plug there, Flando. What is it?
Fantasy Star.
Fantasy Star 2.
I'm currently 200 million resources into it and 900 million raid right now, so I'm busy for the next hour and a half.
In Fantasy Star?
No, on Star Trek.
On Star Trek. Right, and what platform is Fantasy Star on?
It's on the Microsoft Store for free.
For what?
PC.
PC.
You can get it on PlayStation and Xbox as well, I think.
Well, is it an MMORPG?
Yeah.
Yeah. What class are you?
Well, you can switch between, I think it's 7 or 8 classes. You can switch between them, whenever you want to.
What's your favourite class?
I've only just started to play it today, so I'm still testing what I prefer. I've not found a favourite just yet. And
what are you currently then? Jeez, you're not giving much away in this fucking game. Like, what are you currently?
I'm raiding right now. I'm busy. I am a hunter right now, I think.
You're a hunter. Flando, are you called Flando?
Yes.
Flando the hunter. Fair enough.
Yes.
So while we're at it, Spork, do you want to plug any game that you've been playing lately? You're enjoying?
I just got convinced to try Slay the Spire, and it's actually super fun. I've been playing that a lot.
Right, and what's that on?
PC, Xbox, PS4, Switch.
Oh, right, so multi-platform.
It's available on...
And
it's on everything.
Right, and is it cross-platform?
It's single player only. It's offline single player.
Okay. Belly, have you been at anything? Did I see you on World of Warcraft?
No, not just yet.
No?
I've been thinking about going back, yeah.
Did I see somebody in World of Warcraft? No? Well, one of yous, no?
No, it's Slayer Revenge.
Was it Slayer? That's who it was. He was on it. Yeah. Did you vote in my poll?
Not yet.
No.
I'll do it after this.
It's play whatever you want was kind of out in the lead, but Star Trek Online starting to catch it up, like. So we'll see. Probably do what I want anyway, like, you know.
Like playing Star Trek Online.
Hey?
Since you played it before, like it was, on your YouTube video.
Oh yeah.
I actually felt like playing it, and I was asking a couple of the Rogue guys if they played it and all that, and what was it like. And
oh yeah, I had a good chat with Suzaku about it. He had one or two ideas for me, and I'll not get into too much about what the detail of that was, but he was on PC, unfortunately. I was on PS4, but yeah, unfortunately that's not cross-platform, which is a bit disappointing. Like, but yeah, nice enough wee game, like myself and Admiral Jansen have been talking about hooking up there as well on the PS4 and Star Trek Online, so I might do a wee bit of that anyway, But I'm on Final Fantasy 7 minutes, so that's what'll be taking up my time until I finish that. Then that's what be taking up my focus the odd time. Apart from this, of course, like. But what are you playing apart from this?
Occasionally I play Call of Duty. Not Warzone, fuck that.
Yeah.
Jesus. I jump on and play multiplayer. I do Ground Wars. Yeah. I occasionally play a phone game called Idle Miner, which takes up a little bit of time. I was playing another game called Grappleless, but
yes, I remember. Geez, that's an old game, that, like.
Yeah.
It's been
I got
around a while.
wiped from the server, so I was like, I stopped playing it.
Yeah. Right, well, there you go. If anybody's looking to check any of that out, then go ahead and look for Flando the Hunter. If you're on that other one, Sporks is single player. Well, you were wiped from the server. Were you Rogue Belly Dancer on that server? Were you on that game,
Yes.
Grapples?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was.
good man.
Yeah.
One and only.